he was looking up some odds as to who had the better chance to make the college football playoff between Tennessee and Vanderbilt. We'll have to wait a few more weeks before we see that game, but what did you discover? I assume it was FanDuel that you were looking up?
It was, and drum roll please, Mick Fleetwood, yes, we do have Vandy with better odds to make the playoff, well they do, than Tennessee right now, which I find a little interesting. I'm not doubting them. I can't. Contractually, it says I can't doubt them on air. But I am interested because they're both sitting there. I guess it's because one already has 2 losses and one has 1. That's really what that comes down to.
Mm-hmm. This weekend could go a long way in determining that, because if they both win, both playing one half of the Red River rivalry, Vanderbilt going down to Austin, Tennessee playing Oklahoma, then it comes down to potentially that regular season finale, right? So for sports books, would it simply be about how they feel about that game at Neyland Stadium, and that could see a shift there if they both win this weekend, which I suppose there are varying degrees of confidence. Vanderbilt fans probably feeling more confident than Tennessee fans.
I think the better thing to look at, though, so yeah, you're right about that. But if Vandy goes and loses to Texas, then both of them have 2 losses. Then they're on a collision course if they take care of business, which is always a dangerous thing this time of year. But if they take care of business, then it's just heads up in Neyland. That is a Saturday game that week, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving weekend.
It's just basically winner grabs the belt and goes to the playoff. I would assume that's how that sets up if they're both 2 lost teams.
But is that such a slam dunk, Josh? Because I'm looking at the top of the SEC standings right now, and the fact that A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama, and Georgia don't play each other for the rest of the season, and they all have 1 loss or less. And now I'm thinking about the idea of, okay, 10-2, you get in. That's been the thinking. But do you, as a 5th SEC team, or do you need an Ole Miss slip up at Florida like what happened last year to give you some help?
I think it comes down to a couple of things. What happens in the ACC? Because there is a reverse doomsday scenario in the ACC where they get like 3 teams in, which would be insane because it's not a 3-team league. I'll go back to that in a second. B, what happens to Notre Dame? Notre Dame, do they sit there at 10-2? There's also a world where Notre Dame doesn't lose another game, but because of the way the ACC plays itself out, you get yourself in a situation where Virginia and Georgia Tech and Miami are all 1 loss or 2 loss. And if Miami's sitting there on the 2-loss bubble, they're going to get in over Notre Dame because they played Notre Dame and they beat Notre Dame, and that bumps Notre Dame out. So this is what God gave us November for, firstly. Secondly, I still somehow I always tend to think this will work itself out. And if you have a couple of 2-loss SEC teams there, with the profile of the conference this year, Big Ten message boards notwithstanding, I think it'll work itself out, and the winner of that game goes to the playoff.